Once again, it appears that Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots navigated the NFL draft intuitively and sensibly, all while enraging Patriots fans looking for a big offensive weapon and a powerhouse offensive tackle. As usual, you can take a look at Twitter, YouTube streams, and even some of the media's coverage, and you would get the sense that the Patriots draft grade was an F. Was it that bad? From my viewpoint, this time, Bill was actually playing chess while other teams were playing checkers, and even some teams were playing 52 pickup. This was on full display in the first round where the Patriots traded back with the Steelers, who took Broderick Jones at 14, and they screwed over the Jets, who really needed an offensive tackle to protect Aaron Rodgers this coming season. And the Patriots were still able to walk away with one of the handful of blue-chip prospects in this year's draft in the cornerback Keishon Gonzalez, plus an extra fourth-round pick. I gave this pick an A+ thanks to Keishon's elite physical talents and the Patriots' need for a potential shutdown corner, plus the value of Keishon at 17 with a fourth-round pickup. Yes, one could argue the Patriots should have gone with one of the receivers, tight ends, or offensive tackles here. However, in my opinion, Keishon was hands down the best player left on the board, and his talents will address a big need for the Patriots defense. In fact, this is my favorite first-round draft pick that I can remember. In the second round, the Pats were able to nab Keion, who was projected to be a fringe first-round draft pick. I gave this pick an A- due to Keion's raw talent and upside potential, as well as his value at 46. Plus, the secondary need for an edge rusher that can work on a variety of techniques. Keion can play just about anywhere on the line. The Patriots really picked up a guy who can be placed in a variety of packages, so we could see him get significant playing time this coming season. You could think of him as basically 3 draft picks. Plus, I don't see many 2024 draft prospects that are really sticking out that can play with his versatility. Round 3 was a safety and linebacker prospect, Marte Mapu. I gave this one an A based upon talent and the need. The Patriots need to bolster the safety position after losing McCourty. Plus, they add some versatility at linebacker. So the Patriots have essentially added what I call a star position, or like a hybrid rover safety, which is a position I was hoping they would install in their defense due to their adherence to having lethargic linebackers. So Marte Mapu not only brings some impressive talent, he's also bolstering the safeties and improving the linebackers. Similar to Keion, we're getting 2 players out of 1 draft pick. The 4th round is where the Patriots started to make forward-looking picks, while simultaneously enraging the fan base. Their first pick was Jake Andrews, center from Troy. This was the only one that bothered me a bit because the lost opportunity to address the offensive targets and offensive tackles with some decent talent left on the board. On the plus side, Andrews has a great tape and also tested well. So the player is a solid pick, and they're adding some depth behind an aging David Andrews. The center position should not be filled by a rookie, so getting one now does make sense. I would also should note that the center position was being picked away throughout the second day, and really accelerated in day 3. So I'm not surprised the Patriots picked them up. Their second 4th round pick was kicker Chad Ryland, who was one of the top kickers in college and also performs kickoffs. Similar to Jake Andrews, Ryland bolsters the kicking game behind an aging Nick Folk. I hate having bad kickers and weak kickoffs, so I gave this one an A, and I actually did a fist pump when they announced the pick. For the third 4th round pick, the Patriots selected a talented guard in Sidy. I think he's a great value in the 4th round and would bolster the line with his versatility as well as potential to replace Onwenu if he decides he deserves to be the highest paid guard in the league next season. I thought this was a solid pick in the 4th, and I gave it an A-. The Patriots traded their 4th round pick to the 5th, where they took Antonio Mafi, a guard from UCLA. Now, I understood the Andrews and Sal picks, but this one made me stop and start questioning why were we stocking up on interior offensive linemen. Like Sal, Mafi does bring some versatility to the line. In addition, he was probably one of the best availables left on the board, and was comparable to Sal in terms of talent. One could argue he was even better than Sal. He was a great value pick, and I would have given him an A+ if they didn't just draft Sal. So I had to give this one a B due to the unaddressed needs with lost opportunities. In the 6th round, the Patriots picked Keishon Boutte, wide receiver from LSU, who was once one of the top receivers in this year's draft a couple seasons ago. However, coaching issues, injuries, and an incredibly disappointing combine hurt his draft stock. At first, I thought, yeah, a playmaker, great. Then I thought, oh yeah, like 2 years ago. Boutte's been trading down hard for the past year, and I'm not sure his pro day field drills were enough to indicate that has bottomed out. The Patriots might have gotten a steal with Boutte, who might be ready for a clean slate and to revamp his career. On the other hand, why do we pick him with several other competent receivers on the board that have displayed their physical talents and hard work? I gave this one a C because it was, let's hope this turns around kind of reach. And in my experience, they should have gone with a player showing strong growth trends, not fading trends. The team's second 6th round draft pick was punter Bryce Baringer from Michigan State, arguably the best valued pick in this draft. As a whole, Bryce is possibly best in class and should be the long-term solution at that position. The punting situation has been dicey, and it showed last year, and it really hurt the team. Arguably cost them a couple of games. Hopefully, Bryce is okay with doing some barbell back squats though. For their 3rd 6th round pick, the Patriots picked up one of my favorite guys in the whole draft, wide receiver Demario Douglas from Liberty. I saw Demario in some East-West Shrine Bowl practice tapes, and then I watched Save Flowers, and I immediately thought the Patriots would take Demario in the 4th or 6th, instead of going after Zay or Tank Dell. He is nearly identical in size, speed, and is very, very similar in playing style. Yeah, I wouldn't say he was good as Zay or Tank, but his value in the 6 makes him an A+, and is my 2nd favorite pick behind Christian Gonzalez. The Patriots finally get their quick and sudden slot receiver. Finally. For their next 6th round pick, the Patriots picked up cornerback Ameer Speed out of Michigan State, who I added to my list after an amazing pro day where he ran in the 4.3s. When I saw those numbers, I instantly thought about special teams, and I put him towards the top of my list of UDFAs. As a result, I gave this pick a B- due to the lost opportunities still left on the board. In the 7th round, the Patriots picked return specialist Isaiah Bolden or Zay Bolden out of Jackson State, the only HBCU athlete drafted this year. Bolden is a big and fast corner, where he took the slot corner position at Jackson State, which was a bit out of place in my opinion, considering his straight line speed, his vertical ability, and length to be a strong boundary corner. However, he has been essentially the best kick returner in college football and has 4.3 speed. With some development, Zay could be a solid free safety. In addition, his side could be a plus if he has the prospects to play the boundary corner in the NFL. I had a feeling the Patriots were going to take him after it was announced that he was there for a 30 visit. So, it was a no-brainer and a great pick for the Patriots. I gave this one an A. Now, was the draft that bad? Well, overall the draft grades were an average of a B+ for me. Now, the draft strategy in general appears to be sound, with them addressing some of the major concerns in terms of depth and missing talent. To recap, my biggest concerns were offensive tackle, receiver, and a big corner. My secondary concerns were safety, coverage linebackers, third down back, D-end, punter, and kicker. My third tier was guard, upright edge, tight end, center, and defensive tackle. Well, we got the big corner with Gonzalez, so there's a primary. We got 2 receivers, so there's kind of another concern gone. We got a safety who can also play linebacker, so there's kind of 2 secondary concerns gone. Keion takes care of the D-end and D-tackle concerns. We got the punter and the kicker. We got guards and a center. Plus, we got 2 special team guys that can also add depth in the secondary. with crazy speed. So, we were only missing the offensive tackle and an upright edge player, really. But Sal and Mafi have some experience there, and I think Keion and Marte could fill the responsibilities of providing edge rush if Uche or Junior are out. So, they hit just about everything in a roundabout way. Well, except tight end, and yes, I am aware they picked up a big tight end in UDFA. However, this class was loaded with tight end talent, and they had an opportunity to get second or third round talents all the way into day 3. And they didn't grab any. Henry and Gesicki are going to be up next year, so I'm hoping they would take advantage of this ultra deep tight end class, either with the 3rd round or maybe even a day 3 pick. It would have at least alleviated the stress of that issue next season, and at the same time, give Mac and Bill O'Brien something to work with. What is more, next year's tight end class isn't even close to this year's class. In my opinion, it was a huge opportunity lost. So what was their strategy? Well, it looks like they addressed most of the glaring concerns for 2023, especially in those first few picks, and added some depth and potential starters in the 5th, 6th, and 7th round picks. And they were adding depth and preparing for 2024, both in terms of team and the draft in the 4th round. Now, some of you are probably sitting there who say, we need an elite wideout. We needed an offensive tackle. Yeah, we did. But there were so few of those in this draft. As I have said in previous videos, there is no elite wideout here. Just Jackson Smith-Njigba, who's primarily a slot receiver. Everyone else was a 2nd round slot. Quentin Johnston is probably a 3rd round guy most years. As for tackle, we had Paris Johnson Jr. and Skoronski as elite talents. Everybody else was fringe 1st or 2nd round talent. I don't know what happened to DeJuan Jones. I don't know what happened there and why he fell so far. But I will be pissed if he turns out to be a solid starter in a year or 2. Still, the plug-in offensive tackles were very limited to about like 4 guys. One could argue maybe 6. Those guys went early. So it was really DeJuan and Freeland on day 3. So I guess we will see if the Patriots missed out on that one considering the amount of picks they had. The good thing about not taking a wideout in tackles this year is that next year's receiver and tackle class is dramatically superior to this year's class, both in terms of talent and depth. Wide receivers much stronger at the top next year, filled with big wideouts with elite speed. We should have several guys running in the 4.2s next year at the combine. Next year's quarterback class will also be higher end talent and will also go deeper. Next year's running back class has more diverse talents, especially in size and speed. Next year's linebacker class also appears to be deeper. Surprisingly, next year's edge class has similar talent at the top end of the class. The corner class is not as deep, but it does have comparable talent at the top. Safety class is dramatically better, as well as defensive tackle class. In fact, the tight end position is really the only group that's taking a big step back next year in terms of depth. My other main concern is a pass-catching running backs at the FBS level. So, my suspicion is that the Patriots saw this and avoided tackles and receivers because they can focus on those guys next year. If you think about it, they have already found some backups if they don't re-sign Duggar, Onwenu, Parker, Bourne, Falk, Waitman, who's the new punter, Russi, Kajust, Ferentz, even special teams in terms of Slater, Cody Davis, and a few others. This is leaving Trent Brown, Uche, Henry, Gesicki's on a 1-year deal, so him, Bentley, and running back for Harrison Montgomery. The Patriots are expected to have 9 picks next year at this point. Besides filling in some backup roles, the Patriots could focus on tackle, receiver, outside linebacker, upright edge, interior linebacker, tight end, and a running back next year. And still have room to take a quarterback, even. Again, minus tight end. All those groups are deeper next year. So if you're one of those people wondering why we didn't grab wide receivers, tackles, or some other position this year, it's probably because they thought they could draft these guys this year in a pretty bad draft class so they can use those picks on better tackles and receivers next year. I'm not saying I'm 100% with what the Patriots did. I think the tight end issue will be a problem. The Patriots clearly punted on the 2023 season. Yeah, they should have at least shown some urgency in trying to look like they were trying to really attempt to get some offensive playmakers. One solid tight end or a dynamic running back would have done it, really. Still, overall, I really see the method in that madness. So, I think the strategy was solid on paper with decent optics for the fan base, who are used to this by now. Beyond the draft, my biggest issue was actually the UDFA efforts. I had a list of nearly 100 athletes that could have been nice pickups, and they get Malik Cunningham, who I think is arguably the best available UDFA. And then they also picked up a tight end and a special teamer. I know the roster's kind of full right now. At least they could have brought in a few guys that would show that they're trying some different options, maybe to be like a little bit more of a dynamic offense. But no dice. My suspicion is that they saw how many guys other teams picked up and did the math and realized a lot of these guys will be available after cuts if they really wanted one or two of them. In conclusion, was it that bad? No. It will be underrated, and people will probably forget the steps taken this year to fill in serious holes. Plus, we will have more ammo for next year's superior draft class rather than spending picks on guards and centers when there are much better receivers, quarterbacks, and tackles. The defense is looking really solid for next year, and the offense is better on paper with Juju, Gesicki, and O'Brien. Plus, we finally got that sudden receiver in Demario Douglas. Now, the biggest improvement will be special teams, though. I know people tend to discount special teams, but you have to remember the biggest plays of the drive happen there, and a large percentage of the scoring happen there. So, in general, the Patriots right now are stronger this time, May 1st, 2023, than they were May 1st, 2022. Overall, I think the B+ rating holds up. So, what do you think about my draft analysis? Do you think it's worth the B+? Is it better? Is it worse? Let me know in the comments. If you like my content, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.